Well, I guess we could say that this board is going to have the 15 million, and we'll ask the county council to approve them in $5 million increments.
Maybe this board shall provide a report to the county council prior to asking for the next increment.
I've got a feeling if we do $5 million and it's successful, we'll have all kinds of support to do the next.
Spencer's going to be on the council for another 16 years, so you know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering though, if it wouldn't be
You're my council.
that the council has to actually approve the 15 million total amount with 5 million increments. That way,
Oh, we could do that.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is the plan that we can show landowners, we can show grants, we can show matching funds, that we're in it for 15, 20 years of increments moving along. So it's not just a hit or miss. It's not just, oh, 5 million and then we'll see what happens. We have a plan to hopefully really make a dent in this in 15, 20 years or something to that effect. Now, each 5 million increment does have to be approved, but there's some agreement by the council that this money is set aside for this, which then increases tourism for those businesses on Main Street. I mean, you know,
Well,
this is some of that stuff that...
This board has got to come up with some bylaws. And maybe if we do them, put them in the bylaws of this board. We're asking for 15 million, up to $15 million in $5 million increments. And put it in the bylaws what we have to do in order to justify the $5 million.
And as soon as they approve it at the end of March, that's what we're working on the next couple, 3 months before we go out to the public and start talking and informing everybody. But I think that it's, as I said, it's a chicken and egg thing. If we show these donors and these landowners that we are approving $15 million by the county to put it on the ballot, written as such, that we are approving $15 million. So in the meantime, we're showing the public the criteria that has to be met to get any of that money, that we're leveraging it, that we're, you know, but we have donors that could possibly step up as well if they saw the commitment by the county. If we don't show the commitment by the county, these donors aren't going to step up because they're going, what's the plan? What's
You
the
ask for
long-term?
15 million from the voters, you're going to get it turned down.
It's in a 15 or a 5-year increment though, and this puts Midway at ease as well, because I think that Midway will go, okay, we might not get the first million, but we'll have things lined up for that second 5 million. Not that it'll take 5 years for them to get pulled together, but that there's not just the 5. Then, oh my gosh, what if we don't make the 5? Now we've wasted 5 years and we don't have any of that money. So I'm trying to show these other communities, even Wallsburg and some of these other areas, that they don't all have to clamor for this 5 million. This is a long-term plan over 15, 20 years. And then I think some of these other communities and landowners and taxpayers in Midway will vote for it because they're going, okay, there's going to be some money for us. I don't know how we're all going to divide up 5 million in 5 years and everybody end up with something. Do you know what I mean? And what if they have a project that's $3 million that they need, that they want to do some bigger thing? They're not going to get $3 million out of the 5, so they can't, you know what I mean? It really limits them. I don't want to bring up the event center, but it's kind of like you're marking money for the event center that wasn't enough to accomplish what you needed. Do you know what I mean? So then you had to go back and ask for, okay, we need to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like, I think over, 15, 20 years if there was a plan for that. And we've got to prove
Well, I would hope, Tracy,
we got to prove ourselves too. I'm not saying we're just going to get the money when we haven't accomplished
we
anything.
get approval for the first 5 million, before we spend a dime of it, that we would end up with 10 to 15 million in matching funds.
Right.
And I like your idea of bylaws, because that's kind of a governing vision or document. I think after this meeting with the council, I'd be happy to take that assignment, working with
Well,
her.
yeah, we've got some already set up.
Okay,
We just need to modify them and update them.
okay. And I can take that assignment when we get
And
there.
that, once they vote in March, then that's the next step, so that we can show the public we got a plan too. And that includes everybody in the county.
And I think we have to have a number set in August when we go to put it on the ballot for the bond.
A number set.
How much exactly we want to go. And if it's at the $15 million, then we need to be ready to go with the 15 million.
Yeah, but we need the council to vote on what the amount's gonna be in March.
Right.
Okay, just so we
But we
understand, because
need
I
that-
think Midway's waiting for us to
Yeah,
decide
we
what
need
we're
to-
doing, so.
Yeah.
So,
there'll be no change from what we vote on March.
right,
March 20th.
and it would be the first 5 million that we're asking for in November, but it's with the understanding that it's up to 15 million over 15, 20 years.
20 years.
Well, and
Yeah.
that maybe minimizes the tax burden on the resident if it's only a $5 million bond versus
Right.
$15 all at once.
Right,
We can swallow 5. a little
and in
bit.
10 more years, we're gonna have more tax base to spread this out.
Well, and I would like to not, I don't want to go more than 5 years with this first bond set. I want to see how this works and
Yeah.
how we can extend this, but beyond just $5 million worth of value.
But I think
or
Tracy's right.
We
We've got,
extend it on.
in order to get everybody to buy in, we got to make it appear to be a long-term
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commitment.
commitment, yes.
Otherwise, why are we doing it? If we're only preserve.
I'm worried everybody's gonna jump on that 5 million, and if they don't feel like they got a piece of the pie, or they're not ready to do this, that they're gonna lose out. And Midway might not feel comfortable with that, quite honestly, that they might get something, enough, whatever they think enough
Steve,
is.
Do you think we have the resources? Do we need an administrator, something over the next 5 to 10 to 15 years? Somebody that be the liaison to the landowners, to the county assessor's office? Is that just the assessor's office? I mean, are they?
No, when we set this up, we were going to have a full-time employee, but we had no way of funding it. And that might be one of the things that comes out of the first portion of the bond. It may be not a full-time employee, but somebody to administer it.
Seems like we're gonna have to have somebody competent to.
And we also need to establish how we're going to hold these easements. Are we going to work with Utah Open Lands? Are we going to find another person to hold it, or we need to work hand in hand? But that's what this board needs to come up with. But the first thing is get by the council with the, you don't think they'll go for 15 million over a 20-year period?
As long as they get to prove the 5 million increments, I can see. I want to see that it's working.
Well, in the
We're getting
county,
more than $5 million worth of value out of it.
and I think what we're saying too is that the county council's gonna be voting on those 5 million increments. So it's not all one shot.
Yeah.
We do a report.
The only thing we don't have to do is go back to the voters.
You just get to vote on it as a council.
Right. We don't go back to.
But we would have to show, how it works so
Process.
far, and,
Yeah.
how we, our success rate, and,
Somewhere in this study, in this presentation that council, we need to identify what lands we're going after and why.
So that would be,
That was on the one, I think that was on the one I adjusted, was, it said that on there. Is that yours? Or is that this one?
That's this one, I
Okay.
can't find yours.
so we'd probably put it in our proposal, right, there by the
Yeah,
bond,
yeah.
which lands, right?
Yeah. And why we're going after them.
When you say what land, Steve, how specific are you
I
wanting
would,
to be?
I would like to somehow generate it for preserving agricultural land and the firm terms of conservation easements and the purchase of development rights.
So you're speaking pretty generally still?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, okay. I thought you were talking about
Maybe there's
this
a-
parcel and that parcel.
No, I don't want to get to that, but I think a general direction ought to be
Sure.
trying to preserve what we've got.
Sure.
But, and I think that's good because, sorry, I know Midway is very passionate about the open space, but there'll be a building here and a building here and a building here that's all commercial, and there'll be a half acre of commercially zoned, you know, a pasture, and people are saying, we gotta preserve that, and it's like, well, that's not ag.
I think
That's
that's
commercial.
That's counterproductive.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a little of that going on. I've had a hard time keeping my trap shut a couple of times about.
So we're looking at contiguous agriculture land, right?
I don't know what the right word is.
We can-
But that's,
This is what I propose, which I'm sorry, I totally failed, is let's email back and forth and add to this and send it to people, and I can go in and do it, and I'll send it to everybody,
She's
because,
been taking good notes too, so just make sure you do coordinate so you're not duplicating efforts.
Yeah.
well, that's the thing, that's why I send it back to whomever, you know, to the group, so that we can see what everybody's done before. Do you want to do the first hit on it
Sure.
then, since you
Sure.
took?
I just won't be able to do it till Saturday, because I have meetings.
What's
Every
Okay,
night.
now we have our next meeting on March 6th.
Yes, yes,
March 6th, which is what
7
day?
o'clock.
At 7 o'clock, that'd be a week from Tuesday. A week from tonight, no,
6 o'clock or
Tomorrow.
7 o'clock?
I got 7
7
o'clock.
o'clock.
Yep.
It's a week from tomorrow,
Yeah, here?
yeah.
Okay.
And that ought to be our final meeting before the 14th.
Mhm. So we need to spend this next week polishing the drafts. What I could do, everybody, is I could set it up in a Google Doc, so we're not emailing drafts and the drafts get overwhelming. We can all go into the Google Doc. Does everybody have a Gmail account? So I can share it with all of you, whatever Gmail account you have, and you'd have to probably get me one, because right now our city people
But I don't know
have
that we're really asking Steve to go in and make a bunch of nitty-gritty edits. I think that's what the committee's for.
That's what, everybody can look at it at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, I'm
Everybody
hoping
can
somebody
make
more
changes at
computer
once.
literate than I am.
Illiterate?
Illiterate,
It's where the
yeah.
PowerPoint's
More computer.
online,
But I,
and everybody can go in and add their stuff in one spot, okay? It's not all these drafts back and forth.
okay,
And I can format it, we can format it, and then we can copy it onto the regular one final, PowerPoint, because they don't download that great from Google, but they still download. You upload and download just fine, but that way we just have it in one spot, but everybody has to have a Gmail account. If you don't have one, you can set one up immediately free. Just pick some email, and it's at gmail.com, and then I share it with you, and you get the email as well as this drive, it's called, where the files I share with you come through. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And then you click on the link in the email I send you, it takes you right to the PowerPoint. You can add in things, you can edit things, and we all get one version.
Google Drive isn't like a Dropbox account where you just, it's
No.
all in the same,
No, it's the actual PowerPoint itself,
is in there.
and everyone can add in and take things out or make little
But I have to have a Gmail
comments.
account to be even looking at it?
Yeah, you have to have a Gmail.
Well, and I guess what I'm saying is, I think you're spot on. Like, we don't want to send a PowerPoint, your version and your version and my version every other day, right? But I don't know that we need all 6 or 7 of us with Justin all making edits to the Google Drive. Like, could we have almost a subcommittee of the 3 of us, or something? I mean, so these guys give us their input, we put it in, and then we can just send out one final copy to the group.
Okay, I just think it's going to take more than one. I mean, Steve's had some really great ideas. We've talked about a lot of other things to add, but we still are trying to keep it to, what, 10 or 15 minutes?
It's up to you guys. Do you care if
so-
the 3 of us deal with this and send it to you later? Do you want
Do
in
you
on
have a
this?
Gmail?
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Let me see if
we'll
I've
do the
got
4 of
that.
us, maybe.
Do you
Well,
have a Gmail,
let's,
Tracy?
or what we could do is just get it into one document and then send
got
it
your
out to
Gmail.
everybody for comments
Yeah.
and then we'll go back in and clean it up.
Tracy, do you have a Gmail?
Yeah.
You want to stick it on there?
Steve, do you,
Ryan G.
Spencer, do you have a sense
Ryan G. Starks at
of what we would
gmail.com.
need to address
The
in
double G.
our initial presentation about the geographic distribution of this? And what I mean by that is from Wallsburg to Timber Lakes, do we need to make a statement so that people can see their part of the world as potentially being a beneficiary of this, if not on the first round? Is that important or is that not important?
I think if you leave it generic, like the agricultural land, it leaves it all the way across the board. I mean, because agricultural land could be grazing land, for that
Sure.
matter,
Ryan G.
consider
Starks
everything.
at
Sure.
gmail.com. Okay,
Okay.
and
It
Tracy,
doesn't
you're
have to be
at
just fields.
gmail.com.
I've got to run, I apologize. Do we want to hurry and nominate a chair and vice?
Yeah,
So,
right.
I think we're there anyway, right?
Yeah. Let me
Oh,
touch on this
conservation
next
easement.
item. Right now, the sewer district owns about 400 acres right in the center of the valley that's committed to disposal of the sewage effluent.
You talking about the fields just
Yes.
north of the airport?
Yes.
Across the highway from
Yeah,
the
just
airport?
west of the
Where the
airport.
big pivots are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to get your feeling about going to them, asking them if they would explore the possibility of putting a conservation easement on them.
Is that the
It's gonna be-
HVSSD?
It's going to be the Heber Valley Special Service District.
Wouldn't that be beneficial to them to do it as far as, I don't know, how does it, their taxes and,
It protects
Well, they
our,
don't, there's no tax benefit, they're a public entity, so there's no tax.
we don't have to pay for it.
But
We
Well, I
don't
like
have to
it,
pay
just
for it.
But it would show,
low-hanging fruit.
right
part of it.
now, Heber City owns a third of it, Midway owns a third of it, and Charleston owns a third of it. It would be a commitment from the entities to say we're committed to this open space.
That's a great idea.
So I like the idea, but let me just kind of ask a couple of questions. It seems like that land is currently being utilized in like the lowest form of, land use possible. Sewer water spraying over dirt. So if we were to conserve easements, it'd be nice to make it truly ag-related. So maybe it's a partnership where crops or community gardens or something come up.
Ryan, they
You
make
can't-
hundreds
you
of
can't
thousands
legally
off
do
of
that.
that. They make hundreds.
And you can't-
with alfalfa.
Agricultural use
Can't do it to a product that is immediately eaten by
with
humans.
sewer water.
You can feed it to cows and then eat the cows, but you can't feed it, no community gardens there, because you're spraying.
And I guess if you wanted to eat the cow shit, you could eat it.
Well, it's tempting,
that's
but no.
basically what we're doing, so.
Yeah.
It is agriculture because it keeps our sewer rates low. They're able to farm that land and sell the alfalfa, which helps to lower our sewer rates. Why wouldn't we want to keep our sewer rates low with this kind of?
And it's gotta be hay. You can't grow vegetables.
Yeah.
What's
And you just
growing
want to
there
talk
now?
to 'em.
Hay?
Yeah.
Hay, just.
I'm on the agenda tomorrow to talk about it. I just wanted to make this board aware of it. And
Great idea.
if for some reason we felt not
Great idea.
in the best interest,
Yeah.
I'd back off.
Yeah.
What's your other concerns, Ryan?
Just that, just what's the best use of that land? I just feel like that's a different piece of land than the North Fields.
But it's open space to the community.
Well,
And we do have some other problems with it. It was purchased through an EPA grant, and if we change the use of that property, then we have to go back, it's like your federal
Right,
land.
Land and Water Conservation, golden handcuffs.
Yeah,
How long ago was that purchased?
It's
1960,
Really?
1970.
I think it was late 70s, early 80s is what I
We're going to
remember.
get the documentation for this, Tracy.
Someplace.
You know, that's actually, if you can pull that together, that would really an interesting, oh, by the way, when you give your presentation to the council and the public that's there, that's a really good
Well, I think it
example
would
of some
be-
opportunities.
It would be a good gesture on the city's part
Yeah.
to say we're behind this open space.
And if it would be nice to tie it up. I don't know if there was any strength to it, but I remember a proposal from the mayor 10 years ago, Mayor Adams wanted to put a convention center there.
in Texas
Right,
Park.
there's plenty of developers that would like to use it, but they don't realize that if that land is gone and we have to treat the water in a different way than using that effluent, it is going to increase our sewer costs so much
And your smell.
with,
Mechanical plants are,
in all kinds of ways, the
Yeah.
cost would increase. And I'm thinking that people would rather pay lower sewer fees and maintain that as open space than be forced into new technology at such a higher cost.
I say go for it tomorrow.
I don't know how successful it would be.
for the North Fields or for this sewer farm area, is there any public amenity options? So at some point, could we?
I got him at the convention center. He loved it.
No. I'm not convention center. I'm saying, because when I go talk to people, they say, oh yeah, I'd love to preserve that. And wouldn't it be nice to have trails or a place to go walk or whatever? I mean, if this is a publicly owned entity, Spring, who
I can tell you from the county committee dealing with the trail project that was concluded 18 months ago, there was a lot of talk about trails, and specifically a trail along the river. Now, that is complicated, because that's, again, just like this one, it's got some federal
Mitigation.
restrictions to it.
Yeah.
But there was a great deal of conversation about that. We didn't talk about parkland.
Yeah.
The trails were
Just throwing that out there.
You know,
for
and this-
publicly owned, city owned.
This is where we ran in, where they ran into trouble in Park City with the Oscar Thorpe piece they just bought. Oscar Thorpe was going to sell them a conservation easement, but the city wanted public access, a trail on the perimeter through it. And they said no. And the city came back, or the county came back and said, if you're going to use park money for it, you got to have public access.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they worked out, but they did work out a deal. But I talked to the Oscar Thorpe, and they wasn't willing to have a public trail, people walking through their farming operation.
And see, this is not, we're not spending any money, right? This would not entail any money to put that conservation easement on it, so
On
again, public
the sewer
access.
farms.
Right, on the sewer farms. It's very low hanging fruit for the goals of this committee. And if we're not paying any money for it, then it's really hard to say, oh, now we need a trail through it. Because then you're forcing the cities that are over that to somehow give extra money and take away the purpose of using it in the first place. Now remember, the bypass road that goes straight to Highway 40, that's going to be a wide enough easement for a trail, which would come down to that point. Does that make sense?
The 189.
I don't know that you can have a trail right inside that 126 feet, right? I think we have to have extra if we wanted it. Get up once the shoulder space.
Well,
Spencer,
and I don't
you
need to
can't
get
say
into
that.
the weeds. I'm just
Well,
We
asking
went from
general
80
question.
feet to 126 feet,
But they're
and that
looking-
was supposed to include that kind of.
And what I've
trail
understood
easement.
though from UDOT is that their asphalt width didn't get any bigger, but with their knowledge of what's happened on Bangor and stuff, they want more sight distance on each side. So they want clear shoulders.
They had
and-
better come
But-
up with a
But
final
Ryan,
figure.
with
We're running out
the
of
trail
time.
Well,
we
that-
got, the trail we got on
Sorry, I
the
didn't mean to
railroad,
take it out on
the
you.
railroad,
The rail trail.
the rail trail, this open space would rebut that.
Okay. Well, thanks.
No, I know, it's a good idea, and there might be other property that might work better. Because there's wheel lines and there's, it's like equipment, and I don't know, it just, but.
But the sewer's gonna stay operating it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean, there's,
It would be a commitment from the public entities
It's a
that
great first step.
we're in it for their open space.
It's a great first step.
that'd
Points
be
out a lot of
awesome
good
if they
things.
would do it.
Yeah. Okay, we need a board chair and a vice chair for this.
And I've been thinking about these positions, and I'm not trying to sway any of you in any particular way. But whoever that chair is, has got to be the face of this proposal, seriously, for the county, okay? And whether you want to select somebody that is already an elected official that already has some name recognition, or you want to select somebody that is known for certain things and has a county position, I mean, it's up to you on the committee. But the chair needs to be able to be public and have a lot of time to spend on this through the summer. Does that make sense? Into the fall. The chair is critical for that. And I think the vice chair is just as critical, right? The vice chair
Well, I
needs to
think
be
the whole
one
committee
that
is
keeps the
critical.
committee going. You know
Because
what
I
I
wouldn't
mean?
expect the board chair to carry this
Well, they're just going to be
on their
that face.
shoulders. Yeah.
And so because of that, I need to disclose that not only am I doing my regular work during the day and my elected work, but I've taken on an extra job this summer. I didn't realize at the time that it might affect this, but it's just a once-a-week class up at the U. I'll be doing it from June to the first week of August, and then I'll be doing it through the end of August to the first week of October. That still gives me time, I think, to help in any way that this board would like. But I'm just thinking that whoever is the chair and the vice chair, they're just going to be doing a little double duty here. And they really need to be proactive on education and getting us organized and lots of other things. Just 2 cents.
Well, I guess my response to that then would be, let's wait. Let's find out what happens at the meeting with the county council. Maybe we need to recruit another person or two. We need to have more of a sense of which of us has got the time to put into what apparently is going to be a pretty big endeavor. I'm certainly not going to commit to anything tonight.
You don't feel like you can do that?
Tonight you
yet?
can't commit, but
No.
maybe after the presentation.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things maybe need to take shape so we know what the gravity
Mhm.
of the project's going to be. And, if it is a public official, elected official, then that person's going to have to be supported by maybe more than one other person to help make it go. Because I've done that a couple of times, and I've had it done for me a couple of times. It is real nice to have an aide de camp that you could, I need some help right now. I just, responding to your observation,
I would think that once we get past this initial meeting on the 28th and get the go-ahead, that this group needs to break up into segments
Subcommittees.
and maybe bring in more people to serve on a subcommittee
got those committees
and get
talked about in the document. That's right.
working in a number of different areas and then bring it all together.
Well,
And we need the chair to guide that.
I think from my perspective, being a county employee, I don't want to get ahead of my bosses, the officials, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I would